This is my dad's 37 Ford. I was actually working in the shop that built this car in the 90s, and it's pretty much remained completely 90s style. Nothing's changed. I got a little more things to do to it, but I don't want to do anything except for make it a little more drivable. And my 36 Ford, which this car was painted in the 80s, externally it's about how it was in the 80s, but underneath it, it's got everything good. 2-speed rear end, nice built up flathead. I could actually cruise down I-5 doing about 75 without a problem. And at one point, I drove all the way down to San Luis Obispo, raced it all day, and then drove back home. She's pretty much never let me down and always been fun. She's had like 4 motors in her, but she's a lot of fun. Actually goes pretty good up against cars even lighter than her. So, distillery truck. She actually came out of a field in Nevada and was there from like, who knows, somewhere in the 60s. She was buried all the way up to the axles, but it was in Nevada high desert, so it doesn't rust. I got that, and then the motor I got from my cousin, and it was at a field in Stockton. So I got it, had a stuck valve, and my friend Red was like, you just tap the top of the valve with a hammer and make the valve go down, and it worked. So we got the valve unstuck, threw it in there, little Marvel mystery oil down the carburetor, runs pretty good now. So, and it's just the distillery rig. So that one's fun. Over here, we got the altered for the distillery. And this one I bought a month before RPM Nationals. And Zach, Jason, Bert just moved on this thing to get it ready. It hadn't run in 15 years at the strip. So got a rear end from Australia, got it all built, got it ready to go. When we got a couple good runs in, but I've never drove the car before. It was just a bunch of fun. We plan on going and doing that again this year and hopefully doing a lot better job with it. So yeah, this car's actually started its life in the late 40s when 2 guys got back from the war and were like, hey, we want to build a race car. So they built this car and they raced it up until the 60s when my friend Red bought it. And then he raced it up until about 15 years ago. Then I purchased it, and well, now I'm its caretaker for now. I've always wanted this car. It was really cool to be able to purchase it and keep it going on the strip. So this car is actually the label car for Schnaubelt Distillery. This is what the graphic on the back of our shirts is labeled after. Yeah, the label on all our bottles, label on everything is modeled after this vehicle. And now we go and race it, the Nostalgia Drags. We're gonna go race it here in a couple months at Verona and go and hit Samoa to do some testing. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It ran before that too, but that's all the plaques I have. Yeah, she's been racing since the 40s, which I think is pretty cool. You actually have to use the air pump on the side to pressurize the fuel tank to get fuel to the carburetors.
This guy.
And then this is how you stop. That's your brake.
That feels so much better now.
It's basically like an adult go-kart. We're trying to get it ready for this season. You know, she was built in the 40s, has been racing ever since, and I'm proud to own it. I'm proud to be the next caretaker to race this thing.